You can't wait for people to fall into your life for you to finally start moving forward with it. And so what a lot of you guys have been doing is waiting around for people to be the person you want them to be the person you need them to be. And as a result of you waiting, you've stopped yourself from living your life, from moving forward in your life. You put everything else on pause because you're waiting for this person to finally fall into place, for this person to finally grow, for this person to finally actually value your relationship or put effort into you. And what I had to realize is that you can't wait around for people to be ready for you. Like, sometimes people are incapable of being the person you want them to be in the season. And some people don't see the value in even growing into the person to keep your relationship going or keep you in their life. And you can't wait around for people because you're really just going to end up preventing yourself from your own growth. You're going to prevent yourself from finding new experiences, discovering new people who might be bigger and better for you and that help you to actually get where you want to be. And I'm not strictly referring this to just relationships, but also friendships. Like, sometimes you wait around for friends to finally be able to go out and travel or something, or be able to finally start this business, or finally be able to grow in a certain aspect of y'all life together. And it's like, to sit there and see them like remain the same, put in no effort, you're waiting around saying, hey, when are you finally going to be ready? When are you finally like going to be the person who I need you to be in order to make this work? It's like, eventually there comes a point where it's like, hey, this situation just isn't for me right now. And it's like, it's all right. Like, not everybody's going to be the person you want them to be. And you could either call it selfish to an extent, like, oh, you only want things on your time. Oh, you're impatient. Like, you could say those things, but there also comes to a point where it's like, okay, enough is enough in regards to myself. Like, sometimes we're just in two completely different seasons where I'm willing to give this effort, but your priorities and your focus is somewhere else and you're valuing other things, and I just happen to not be one of those things, or this situation happens to not be one of those things, and that's okay. I just can't afford to wait around for you to finally value it, to finally want to give it effort, to finally want to build or grow something. And so I have to allow myself to move on. I have to love myself enough to move on. And whether I get to a point where it's like I grow so much and then you finally become ready, I can't promise you that I'm willing to take you back. I can't promise you that then you'll fit into that season of my life. You could refer back to my video about outgrowing people, where it's like, sometimes you go and disconnect from people and outgrow them to a point where when they're finally ready to grow, you're so far along that it's not even wise for you or in the best for you to even allow them back into your life, because now you're so far ahead that them coming into your life, it's now like a hindrance, or they're kind of holding you back to an extent. They're a liability to your life because they don't even add any type of value to it anymore. And genuinely speaking, it is hard to just let people go, especially when they've been in your life for a long time, or once upon a time you guys did align with each other and y'all were in the same season and y'all were clicking and growing together and you were seeing progress, and then all of a sudden things kind of shifted away from each other. And it's like, yeah, I see the potential in them, but I can't force them or make them want to actually step into that potential. I can't make them be who I want them to be. I can't make them be that best version of themselves, or even want to be that best version of themselves. Like sometimes you just like no longer align with each other, and you have to be willing to accept that. Like, I think a lot of us get caught up on who people once were, and we're like, dang, I really see that in you. I see that potential in you. I know who you're capable of being. Like, and when you're hanging on to potential and like possibilities, then it's like, again, you get caught up in staying in places around people and just like waiting for people to finally become that person, when in reality you just have to allow yourself to move forward and just wish them the best. Maybe they'll catch you at the top, maybe they'll catch you in a month or two, but right now in this current season of your life, you're going one direction and they just don't align with helping you go in that direction. And so some of y'all might be in relationships, might be in friendships, where it's like someone saying one thing, someone saying they got these great ideas, they're making you feel good, they're telling you what you want to hear, but it's like they're not actually taking action on it. And sometimes that has to be enough. Sometimes you have to really pay attention to people's actions rather than their words. Sometimes you can't even put a value on words. Sometimes you can't value words at all, because their actions don't correlate. Like sometimes people are just really good at saying what sounds good, but they really have no intention, no plan, no idea of how to actually make it a reality. And so sometimes you have to like see, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm also seeing what you're saying. And I have to really pay attention to your actions, because that's really the only thing that matters. And when you get caught up on just like valuing words and constantly eating up words, constantly believing people, believing what they say and stuff, you're going to catch yourself again in that process of waiting, in that process of waiting to see change, in that process of waiting to see that effort, in that process of seeing them finally valuing the situation. And it's like, again, you're going to get caught up where you're not even growing yourself because you're waiting for this person to finally fit into your story, for this person to finally place themselves in the spot you have reserved for them. And when I say you stop yourself from growing, it's like you stop yourself from going out and experiencing new things. You stop yourself from going out and meeting new people. You stop yourself from building a life for yourself, for the life you wish to live for yourself. And sometimes we have this made up idea in our head of like what we want our future to look like. And so we say, hey, my future looks like this. It has these specific people in it. It has me with this materialistic thing, this set amount of money. You know, we have that fantasy in our head. And so sometimes it's like when other people aren't ready to come along with the growth and take the necessary action and the necessary steps to help you turn that fantasy, that vision you made up in your head into a reality, it's like you kind of hesitate to move forward, because it's like, you know, you want them to be a part of that because that's what you always envisioned. But then sometimes you have to learn to accept that, dang, maybe they wasn't meant to be in that vision. Maybe they really aren't the person that's going to be there when I get to that specific place. Maybe the story I made up in my mind isn't the story that God has planned for me, or the journey or the plan that God has laid out for me. Because, you know, you can't stop yourself from building that business. You can't stop yourself from going and experiencing different things because you're waiting around for other people to become ready for it. Whether that's just traveling, whether that's just going out and trying new foods and restaurants, whether that's literally just going out and doing different hobbies, different activities, and engaging in certain social clubs, starting a YouTube channel, podcasts or something. Like, you're gonna hold yourself back from so much in life when you're just like constantly waiting for people to become ready for the things you're already ready for. And, you know, I can't make this person become ready for a situation that they don't value, or for a situation that they don't care to change for. Because in life, you're gonna grow the most and just like learn the most from stepping into the unknown, stepping into situations that are new to you, stepping into situations that are just uncomfortable to you. And obviously when we do that, we wish to do it with people who have always been around, people that, hey, I know I'm doing it with somebody by my side rather than doing it alone. But again, that's why you have to sometimes just move forward, because like sometimes you're gonna have to go out alone. Sometimes, again, people aren't gonna be ready, and it's like I have to be willing to step into those uncomfortable situations, those situations that are new to me, those environments that I've never been in before. You know, I have to be willing to step into them and trust myself enough to just be able to figure it out. You know, I don't need this person. I would love to have them along for the journey, but you know, they clearly aren't ready. So I got to go about this on my own. I got to grow on my own. You know, it may take a little longer because I don't have somebody right by my side to give their opinion or bounce off of their ideas, but you know, I can't afford to hold up my own growth any longer. So I got to step into the situation. I got to grow. I got to learn. I got to start building my future for the vision I have created in my head. And I have to accept that, hey, I'm going to meet new people. Hey, I'm going to experience various different things. I'm going to mature. I'm going to gain new perspectives, gain a new mindset and a different way of thinking. And then when that person again finally might be ready, they may just no longer align with that version of myself, and then that leads to, hey, they just somebody that's no longer in my life at all. But like I've talked about in other videos, when you're constantly hanging on to hope for people, you constantly hanging on to potential of people, you're gonna constantly catch yourself getting frustrated. You're gonna constantly catch yourself getting disappointed, getting mad when other people aren't meeting that expectation, when you see other people playing with their own potential and just not making the most out of their life. And you know, you can't make it your responsibility to force them to change. You can't make it your responsibility to get them to value the things that they should be valuing. And sometimes you just gotta let it be. And this don't even necessarily mean this person is doing bad in life, but sometimes it could just be like, hey, they clearly value these other things over a good friendship. They clearly value these other people over somebody who's been in their life and actually proves to them time and time again, hey, I show up for you. Hey, you could trust me. Hey, I'm reliable, dependable, all these things. So it's like sometimes it's not even necessarily that they aren't growing. It's just sometimes they just don't have their priorities straight, or that they don't value your situation again, and you have to be willing to move on without them, because you can't wait around for them finally to value the situation. Because if there's anything you got to learn in this world, is that you can't wait for people to make up their mind about you. You can't wait for people to see the value in you. You can't wait for people to become certain about you. You can't wait for people to make you their choice, for people to choose you. Like, you can't wait around for those things, because again, when you're constantly like showing up as yourself, you've already like not proven yourself, but you've shown who you are. You can't constantly wait for people to see the value in that, especially when you just show it day in and day out. But I appreciate you guys for tuning into the video. Hope you learned a thing or two. Be sure to join up on the Discord, like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Got one-on-one coaching in the description as well. Catch you in the next video. Peace.